Check this out. I know you have always dreamed of performing in Carnegie Hall. So I think this 2023 to 2024 season at Sound Espressivo will be perfect for you. As a platform, we host live online auditions so you can share your music with the entire world. Then we send you to incredible in-person venues like Carnegie Hall so you can perform solo, as a duo, as an ensemble, and with orchestra. This year we have a total of 4 gala events at Carnegie Hall, as well as 4 different opportunities to perform with orchestras in the US, in the Czech Republic, and even in Egypt. We want to help you fulfill your musical dreams. Go to soundespressivocompetition.com to check out our season and to apply. Hello everyone, welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music programs. Thank you for joining us today. I am Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. This is session 4 of our Carnegie Hall auditions. This channel, if you're new to this, is dedicated to bring live performances and events from international artists delivered to audiences around the globe. Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. This is session number 4 of our auditions for Laureate Gala Concerts at Carnegie Hall. This is a really special event because auditionees are competing for an opportunity to perform at Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall in New York City. So this is extremely exciting, and auditionees are coming from many different countries to audition for a spot to play in Carnegie Hall. And how exciting is that? It's so amazing that we get this opportunity to give to our auditionees. These are contestants from all around the world of many different disciplines, as you'll hear today. You'll also hear many different musicians from around the world who have different instrumentations, different vocal ranges, and you'll just have such a great time hearing music from around the world. They are competing to play in Carnegie Hall, but also what's really amazing is they are playing live. And so with live events like this, there's a lot of spontaneity, there's also improvisation, and sometimes things happen and it's part of the performance. Not only are they live, but also the judges are giving live feedback. And this is really a special part of what we have to offer in Sound Espressivo, Virtual Concert Halls, as well as progressive musicians, an opportunity to audition live, as well as hear feedback from our judges who are waiting very patiently to hear your music and to give their thoughts. And these are esteemed individuals who have a lot of experience in the music industry as well as in performance. So I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it as an audience member, but also as a performer. The gala auditions are organized by Sound Espressivo, progressive musicians, and Virtual Concert Halls. Whilst Virtual Concert Halls is an internet TV broadcaster providing artists with a virtual stage and ability to reach audiences beyond the walls of conventional concert halls, progressive musicians go hand in hand together to make these in-person venues accessible for everybody who is available, as well as with amazing talent within combining competitions with live performance experiences. And this is how we started, and this is a trailer to show you how it all began. We're also really pleased to have our partners, and you'll see them on the screen. These partners have been with us from, a lot of them from the beginning. When I first encountered Sound Espressivo competition and virtual concert halls, a lot of these companies, for example, the Colburn School, Group Muse, as well as Classical Academy, these were all part of the organization to begin with, and more of these organizations have come, but we are looking for more collaborations. We are looking to give opportunities to young and really talented individuals all around the world, an opportunity to play in some of the biggest concert halls. And why not? The goal of these auditions is to encourage and nurture and reward musicians who are proactive about nurturing their own careers. We would love to give opportunities for individuals who also want to pursue different opportunities around the world. And a lot of our performers, especially those who I met at Carnegie recently, these are individuals who either compose and but are involved in social media, online media, but they do a lot of other things to make sure that the career isn't just one-dimensional. It's not just about studying or perfecting the craft, but also about all these other things that go into what the music career is. So sound Espressivo and progressive musicians together, providing opportunities for musicians to discover the unique artistic voice, to take initiative, present themselves on their own terms, and to carve out their own careers.
Perform on our galas at Carnegie Hall. Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists. Perform as a soloist or chamber ensemble at Carnegie Hall. Perform a concerto with the New York Chamber Players at Carnegie Hall. Composers submit their works to be premiered at Carnegie Hall. New this season, Laureate ensembles at Carnegie Hall. Audition to be part of a 3-day intensive workshop directed by some of the world's master musicians, culminating with a performance at Carnegie Hall. Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
Well, before I forget, it's really important for our musicians and our audience members to realize that these Carnegie Hall auditions do come to fruition. They're not just auditions that happen and then we forget about them. These winners are actually performing, not these ones you're hearing today, but we've had previous Carnegie Hall auditions and the performers are playing very, very soon. We have April 1st and April 4th as our events coming up where audition winners are performing. And there's a big program. There's a lot of exciting music to look forward to. And this is going to happen very soon. So if you're in town in New York or in New Jersey area, please feel free to join us. Carnegie Hall, April 1st, April 4th. There's going to be 2 amazing different programs that are being presented with different new music being presented, as well as the greats, the classics. And that's going to be really, really exciting. So I'm going to introduce our performers very soon. But before that, we have our judges. So first and foremost, we have Dickran Atamian, also known as Richie, and he is one of the most incredible pianists who won first prize at the 50th anniversary non-book competitions at Carnegie Hall at the age of 19. He has performed all around the world in some of the biggest venues, the biggest halls, as well as with incredible orchestras and at big festivals like Aspen, Marlborough, Chautauqua, and Ravinia. He's recorded the Prokofiev Third, as well as the Countertenor piano concertos with Gerard Schwartz and the Seattle Symphony. He has, since his performing career, he has also done started a management company under the name of Jack Price, who is the founder, and he's the founder of Price Attractions, a concert management headquartered in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this is just some of the few things that he has on his plate, and he's an incredible person, incredible musician. Richie, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Chris. I'm glad to be here. It's fun.
Yeah, it really is. And I also want to introduce Giacomo Franci, a veteran to our show, who is artistic director and conductor of the New York Chamber Players Orchestra, an organization he founded in 2004. He's recorded the complete piano works for Stravinsky, and this is just a beginning, a small slice of what else the things he has done. He's also performed all around the world. He's an esteemed musician and conductor. Welcome, Giacomo.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you. Wonderful to work together again. And yeah, we have our 4th session today, and I'm really excited for what we have to hear. So let's get the show on the road with our first contestant. The first contestant is Savita Namuduri, and they'll be performing Laugudi Jayaraman, Tilana, Raga Brindavini, and Adi Talam. I apologize if I butchered any of these names, but without further ado, Savita, the stage is yours. Enjoy the show, and I look forward to hearing you.
tadana tatom tadim tadirana tanadim tanadililanadim tadim tadim tadirana tadana tatom tadim tadirana tanadim tanadililanadim tadim tadim tadirana tadana tatom tadim tadirana tanadim tanadililanadim tadim tadim tadirana tadana tatom tadim tadirana tanadim tanadililanadim tadim tadim tadirana dim takita takadim dim takita takadim tirana dim takita takadim dim takita takadim tirana dim takita takadim dim takita takadim tirana takajanudim chanuta chanutadim chanuta chanutadim chanuta chanutadim tadim tadim tadirana dim takita takadim dim takita takadim tirana takajanudim chanuta chanutadim chanuta chanutadim chanuta chanutadim tadim tadim tadirana tadana tatom tadim tadirana tanadim tanadililanadim tadim tadim tadirana விண்ணோர் பணியும் மாதவ யாதவ என்னும் போதே இனிக்கும் குழலூதும் விண்ணோர் பணியும் மாதவ யாதவ என்னும் போதே இனிக்கும் குழலூதும் கண்ணா கண்ணானின் கடல் சரணம் கார்முகில் வண்ணா பிருந்தாவன மேவும் கோபால கண்ணானின் கடல் சரணம் கார்முகில் வண்ணா பிருந்தாவன மேவும் கோபால தரிக்கிட்ட தகதிம் தரிம பனி சரிசா தரிகிட்ட தகதீம் தரிம பனி சரிசா ஜனுததீம் ரிம பரி மரிச தரிகிட்ட தகதீம் தரிம பனி சரிசா ஜனுததீம் நிம பரி மரி சரி சமரி ப மணி பசானி ரேசா தஜம் ததீம் ததோம் ததீம் தரி சமரி ப மணி பசானி ரேசா தஜம் ததீம் ததோம் ததோம் தனி சரி ம பனி ப மணி பனி சரி ரி சனி ப மணி பனி பமரி சனி நி சரி ம ப தகதீம் சணுதீம் தகதீம் மரி ச தகிட மரி சதீம் ததீம் ததீம் ததீரனா நீ சரி ம பனி பமணி பனி சரி ரி சனி பமணி பனி பமரி சனி நி சரி ம ப தகதீம் சணுதீம் தகதீம் மரி ச தகிட மரி சதீம் ததீம் ததீம் ததீரனா ததன ததோம் ததீம் ததீரனா தனதீம் தனதிலிலனதீம் ததீம் ததீம் ததீரனா
Fantastic. Bravo.
Thank you.
That was really beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
we'll hear from our judges. First we'll have Dickran and then Giacomo.
Okay, I've never heard this before. I'm hearing an echo here. So. Okay. I don't know if that's me or someone else. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. I've never heard. Is this some sort of chant from your country or something?
It is a South Indian classical music. It's a composition in the South Indian genre of classical music.
So this is classical music in India.
Yep.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it to be, compelling. It was actually tranquil, for me. It felt like peaceful, Yeah, that kind of thing. I can't really say I know anything about it, in terms of sound quality or any of that stuff. I mean, I don't think I could judge it, but I found it to be, interesting. Like, when you listen to ethnic music from different countries, like you listen to Spanish music or anywhere, Armenian music. I'm Armenian, so I've heard, our stuff is kind of weird. But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. Do you think it has a place in like concert halls? I mean, I'm just asking. You think so?
I think so. Actually, if I may, we're doing a collaboration with the local Philharmonic Orchestra, and we're performing on April 6th. And people from North Indian and South Indian traditions, classical musicians have performed with regular orchestras in concert halls. Yeah, this is one of the pieces that is very popular. And if we had an arrangement of Western classical music to accompany it, this would become a great piece to perform.
So let me ask you, if this is Indian classical music, what category do you put Ravi Shankar and the sitar in?
Yes, that is the North Indian classical music. This is the South Indian tradition. It's our theory is the same, but the interpretation and the intonations are slightly different, and the repertoire obviously is slightly different.
So you don't play the sitar down there, huh?
I do, not in the South Indian, but we have a similar instrument that is called veena. You don't hold it diagonally, but you hold it horizontally and play. It still has frets, 13, how many ever frets the sitar has. I'm not an instrumentalist, so I can't tell you exactly, obviously, but we play, the veena is played this way, like horizontally, while the sitar is played diagonally. Also, you may know that India has many languages. There are language differences as well. Most of the North Indian music is in Hindi or allied languages. But South Indian music, we have compositions in 5 different languages. Wow. And this is one of the 5 languages that I sang today. It's of a neighboring state than my own. My mother tongue is a different language, but this is a slightly different language than my own. So we have all of our repertoire is in these 5 languages.
Wow. And who wrote this piece?
The gentleman is a violinist. He is no more, but his name is Lalgudi Jayaraman. That's the first, Lalgudi Jayaraman. He has written a lot of these, and the piece that I picked today, it's a very heavy rhythmic piece, even though it has melody in it, but there are a lot of rhythmic patterns in it that make it, you mentioned tranquil, but they are also technically challenging to sing those rhythmic patterns in the right beat. Wonderful. So, but he has composed them in such a way that they just sound so good, despite of the technical sophistication.
Thank you for that. That's really helpful. Giacomo, do you have any thoughts?
I have a question. I'm not very familiar with this music, even though I was always very attracted to that, because when I came to New York, there were many Indian shops, and I liked this. Am I wrong if I say quarter tone music? Your intonation is I don't know. It's not the traditional. You're kind of playing like a grace note on something like
You
so
can, yeah, you can bring the grace notes and make, they're called gamakas.
yeah.
For instance, yeah. Uh, when I sang, we use a lot of those, they come naturally to someone who's trained for a lot of years. But yeah, you're right. Those are the quarter tones, like slides and twists and turns. You will feel those things when we sing. Yeah.
So now my first question is: you say you perform with an orchestra there in India. What are the instruments in the orchestra? Traditional instrument, Western,
There
or
are, yes, sorry to cut you off, but yes, there are instruments that we perform with. In the classical Indian concert, usually you have the violin played in the classical tradition. They don't hold it up here, but they place it on their foot, on the right foot. We sit cross-legged down on the floor. They place the violin this way on their right foot, and then bow this way.
Very
okay?
cool.
Yeah, so violin is one of the must-have accompanist for vocal music like mine. And then there is a double-sided drum that is called mridangam. They hold it horizontally like this, so the drum is this way. Again, all three of the performers are squatted on the floor or on the stage, and they play it with both hands like this.
Okay.
So these two are the minimal accompanists we need to have for a music, like a classical vocal music performance.
Okay. How many piece orchestra?
It's just three minimum, and then you can have a few more rhythm instruments, like a couple more, I would say, but no more than 5 to 6 on stage at a time.
Okay, it's like chamber music for us, like
But yeah,
like quintet or sextet. Okay.
that is correct.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Our director, Dr. Anos Pascal, has a question for you, Savita. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind answering one of her questions.
No problem at all.
Hello, this is a great pleasure to meet you and to hear this music. I have a question regarding orchestration.
Yes.
Have you ever performed any of these pieces with the Western style orchestras?
We are going to on April 6th. We have, but I have not performed, but I have seen other people perform these kind of pieces where somebody writes the score for Western orchestra, like a full orchestra, and they intersperse the voice components of what I sing into it. On April 6th, I'm doing it for the first time with the local McKinney Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm very excited about that. There is a lady who's of Indian descent. She went to Yale Music School and she composes. And she has taken some of these traditional pieces and wrote Western music in like the background score for it. So we're very excited to perform that coming soon.
Wow.
So my question is, if the judges panel selects your performance for the Carnegie Hall with the orchestra, you have some people who are trained and able to make such arrangements, right?
Yep, we can commission her music, and I can perform one of those. She has already written a few pieces, so we can either pick one of the pieces that she has already composed, or I can commission her to write something specific in the South Indian genre. The options are open.
This is a very interesting. I'm very interested in blending different traditions. The Indian classical music, the Western classical music, but not everyone shares my view of it. How do you see what's the value in? People say, well, you don't mix apples and oranges, but how do you see the value in such an ensemble?
I think if it's done with good intent and good thoroughness, I think it's a great thing, and the value can be tremendous. I think where most attempts fall flat is that they don't have the expertise, and it's amateurs putting things together. I mean, I'm a singer, I'm a teacher. I wouldn't dare to compose a score for Western music because I don't have expertise in it. As long as experts collaborate and all of us do it with seriousness, keeping our art in highest regard and keeping the audience and not taking them for granted and producing a really quality piece, I'm all for it.
interesting that you brought up the expertise. So the person who is doing such an arrangement or composing the piece for such an unusual collaboration needs to be an expert in both cultures. Would you say
Yes.
so?
Yes, she is. She is. She is a lady of Indian origin, and she studied music here. She went to Yale for music composition. So she is. That's what she studied, and she does professionally. So, yeah, I
Because
would.
yeah,
I would.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I've heard some attempts at that, and I want to say they were done by the great colleagues of mine. And what felt to me where things are maybe not quite there yet, or something is missing, is some attempts were basically trying to convert the Western orchestra into sounding like Indian music, or vice versa. Kind of bend the Indian traditional melody, shape, and harmony to sound more Western. So I wonder if there's someone who kind of got the idea of how to. It's not just the idea that this would be great, but there needs to be someone who understands how to keep the authenticity of both cultures and where to find the points of contact. And I think that's a huge challenge.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, yeah, Giacomo.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your answers.
I think that that is very important. This woman, if I understood well, that studied at Yale University, as a communication. If this project is going, that is very important for the issues that Anna was talking about.
Yeah.
Great. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Savita, also for enlightening us on top of playing and singing such a beautiful performance. I look forward to having you on this stage again. And thank you so much, judges, and Dr. Anna, for your insights and your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, judges. We're going to take you off now. And Savita, once again, thank you so much for your time. This is session 4 of our Carnegie Hall Laureate Gala auditions. It's really exciting. You never really know what you're going to hear, especially when this is all online and available for everybody to audition and to apply. And this is just such a wonderful way to begin our session. Next up, we have Elizabeth Hayden performing J.S. Bach's Prelude from the 6th Cello Suite. The stage is yours, Elizabeth. I look forward to hearing you, and please enjoy. Oh, beautiful. Franklin, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Richie, would you like to start us off, please?
Sure. Elizabeth, great playing.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's interesting how string players, I've noticed, maybe you can explain it to me, they delay after a phrase, Is
Yes.
that, I know a lot of them do that, and is that to set the hand again, or is that a musically inspired gesture? I just wondered, because it's done
It's a
quite a
bit of
bit.
taking time so that people aren't inundated with too many notes, as they say in over dance.
So in other words, instead of running the phrase
Yeah.
right into it, you
It's also
pause a little
10:30
bit.
at night.
It's what?
It's 10:30 at night here. I'm in Norway.
Oh, you're 10:30 at night in Norway. No. I don't think that's not what.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, no, you're teasing. Okay, good. I think it's interesting. Who did you study with?
Well, I got stuck in Australia. I auditioned
I
first.
forgot.
Then I went to do some work with Raphael Wolfish. And then I did master courses with Ralph Kirschbaum.
Oh, I know Ralph. Yeah,
And then I did.
I played with his father.
I had some fabulous master classes with Andre Navarra, Anna Bilsma, and quite a few with the big guns. And then I'd made an arrangement to study with Boris Pekaminchikov, the fantastic Russian cellist, but
Oh yeah,
terrible. He died.
He won the Tchaikovsky, right?
He won the
passed away.
Tchaikovsky, and he played a Hinderman at Ralph's festival, and it just blew the roof off. He was the most
Yeah,
amazing.
Pergamechikov was a great cellist. Well,
He
it's
was-
interesting. So, did Pergamechikov and Ralph, influence you greatly in your playing?
Yeah, Boris especially,
Okay, interesting.
because he had this big fat Russian cello sound, and that's the sort of big fat Russian cello sound I want.
Yeah, well, it's a big sound. Yeah, I mean, some people play Bach.
I'm sorry I didn't bring any microphones or anything to pick up the actual true quality, but
Oh no, I think the quality's there.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, we got the idea. There are a lot of interesting things in your playing for sure, especially in this suite. It's a difficult suite.
It's a nasty.
Yeah, it's a nasty suite. I know. How about volume? Do you think that it could be? This is just a question.
More
Could it be
dramatic?
more? Could it? No. Could it be more varied in color? You know.
Yeah, I think that is because it's 10:30 at night. I was doing a really good job at 4 p.m., but never mind. Yeah, it can be. There can be a lot more quieter bits and tone coloration.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it was a little bit on the
Beefy side.
full side all the time. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also,
But anyway,
then the second and the next movements, I can do lots more and coloration. I mean, this is kind of like his piano Bach preludes and fugues. It's kind of setting the
Yeah.
stage for D major and slapping you in the face with it.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting.
I didn't want to chicken out on the really hard bits. I thought if I put them soft, everyone would think I was just chickening out.
Chickening out. I don't think anyone would accuse you of chickening out.
I was going to run.
No, it was good. It was interesting playing. Thanks very much.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Thank
And thanks for making me do it. I only got the hook in about 3 days ago.
Aha.
Wonderful.
I had to play Dvorak yesterday, so that was pretty tricky.
Oh, wonderful. Wow, what a concerto. Giacomo, do you have any thoughts you want
Of
to share with
course,
us?
Yeah. I enjoyed the quality of sound,
Thank you.
beautiful sound.
Thank you.
You probably have also a very good instrument. I am not an expert.
No, this is not. This is my
Wow.
little one.
So
This is
more,
like, yeah,
more
Java-
praise to you. More praise to
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah. I also enjoy visually the traffic going on in the.
I thank you. It's in an Airbnb.
There was a bus coming.
Yes.
What town are you in? In Norway? Where are you?
Oslo. Oslo, Norway.
Oslo.
Oslo.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was very interesting the conversation you had with Dickran before. I thought the delaying of phrasing was from musical reason.
Good.
I've heard several string players, especially cellists, the famous do da di da di do da do do da di da di da.
Prelude number
And
one.
they wait on the G. Po, da di da di do da do do. Da di da di
Yeah.
da da da. I'm not a fan of that.
No.
So, but I'm not judging you for that.
Okay.
I would just go technically what you have done. I find that you have very good ideas, and you express them pretty well. I found a few spots with intonation
Yeah.
that you were not quite there, and then yes, maybe you were a little timid. I don't know myself. Those chords at the end, I don't know. By instinct, I would have played stronger. I don't know.
Oh,
Just
okay.
play.
No, I was doing them gently so I wouldn't blow you out of the mic.
Yeah, but and a little more variety of dynamics. But it's very difficult, that piece, I think.
Yeah. Nasty.
Yeah, but anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
Generally speaking, very nice.
Wonderful.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille.
Oh no, thank you, Elizabeth. I really appreciate you bringing this to us, and I know that it's not easy to perform at 10:30 at night in Norway. So thank you for making the great effort of doing so, anyways. And I look forward to hearing you again.
Thanks
Thank
very
you,
much.
judges. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks
Well,
very
have a
much.
good
very
evening,
much.
and I hope you have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
So with that, we want to give a big hand to our judges. Thank you to our judges, as well as talk a little bit about our upcoming season. It's really, really great to be able to talk about this because we have a really exciting season. We have so many things coming up in terms of auditions to play in Carnegie Hall, different orchestras that are happening. In the beginning of our season, we were able to hold a lot of auditions, which meant that a lot of participants were able to participate in the auditions online. But now in this part of the season, we're able to start seeing the fruits of it all, where they're able to perform live. And so this includes a lot of the season awards you're seeing on screen now, and which means that a lot of the time musicians have the opportunity to meet artist managers, to meet record and distribution people who work there, as well as new music composers, as well as libraries like you see on screen, which are dedicated to that, as well as masterclasses all around the world, from places in Germany to in the US, which means that ultimately, musicians have a lot of opportunities available to them. What I love about this organization is that it's not just about one performance, it's about many other connections you can make, whether it is at the Colburn School, whether it is with Brilliant Talent Discovery, whether it's with iClassical or Cicerone Album Distribution Company. There's so many different opportunities available for musicians. And so I think it's a really, really wonderful testament to what we're doing online, as well as combining that package with in-person opportunities and venues. And I hope that you will consider joining us and supporting us. I want to share with you our websites if you want to join and look into more of what we have available. These include websites like virtualconcerthalls.com. We also have soundespressivocompetition.com, progressivemusicians.com, and choreorchestra.com, which provide for our musicians out there and music lovers an opportunity not only to perform with the orchestra, but to check out all of the different things we organize. We have Rachmaninoff competitions, we have Laureate ensembles. The list goes on because we are in contact with so many esteemed and renowned musicians out there, and they want to offer opportunities for the next generation. And that's just really lovely. With that, we're going to pivot to the next contestant. You are currently watching session 4 of our auditions for Laureate Gala concerts at Carnegie Hall. Our next contestant is Hannah Kim, who is accompanied by Ji Young, and she'll be performing a movement from Mozart's Piano Concerto in D minor, Kirkel number 466, the first movement, Allegro. And without further ado, welcome to the stage, Hannah. Bravo! Congratulations. That was really, really fine playing. Hannah, we're going to have our judges come on board onto the screen. And first we'll have Richie and then Giacomo. Thank you.
Oh, that was very impressive playing. It's a performance like this that makes you really, there's so many things you can say because you do so many things and you ask questions, you know what I mean? Like, there aren't very many answers to things, but there are a lot of questions in life. That's what I've found, you know. Every time I ask somebody like a Rao or Bolette, they'd go, I don't know, you know. But they would ask questions like, how do you do that? Or why are you doing that? Or, you know what I mean? But the answers are not so important. I think Bernstein said, when someone gives you an answer to a question, it tells you a lot about that person. It's not so much like the definitive answer, but it tells you what they're thinking when you're playing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's so much to talk about. Let's talk about the opening. This so lyrical opening. The thing I miss in your playing in the lyrical... By the way, there's some brilliant playing in this, you know, like that last flurry of fingers in the cadenza. I don't think I've ever heard it more brilliantly played in my life. But, yeah, I mean, it was absolutely stunning, but the sound was wrong, in my opinion. It was too, I don't like these terms, but it was a little bit Lisztian, you know what I mean? And that's not really what I'm saying. It's just a little hard. Serkin had an incredible recording of this at one time with Zell. I don't know if anyone's heard it. With the F major on the flip side, this was years ago. It's an incredibly beautiful sound he gets out of the piano. I mean, Rudy was not the greatest pianist in the world, but I'll tell you what, some of the most exciting... I heard him play the Hammerklavier once in Carnegie. Wasn't perfect, but it was very thought-provoking. Very thought-provoking. He was a big talent. And I think you can learn a lot from... I remember Capel talked about Serkin's sound in Mozart. It was crystalline. It was just like pearls, the quality. You could just feel it. You know what I mean? So I think quantity is conquered with you. You need to concentrate on the quality of the sound and of the phrasing because, once again, it's the harmonies that dictate policy in my book. So, the opening. When you have large intervals, you play them the same as close intervals. Have you ever noticed?
No.
Oh, yeah. You go... Instead of you go That's not really the piece. You see, I think you have to think about. I haven't said this too often, but large intervals need time for the ear to digest. Okay, you know, wide intervals, I should say. Versus a second or a third, you know. And you could your phraseology could be much more complicated yet simple, not straightforward, but like yarum barum. You know, you go dee da da dum ba dum. What's wrong with like an appoggiatura type thing? Yarum barum bing bong. And then you play the fingers, right? Another thing, this is something you do all the time. You rush into the next quaver from the long quaver. You go, no, you need to sing that D or whatever it is. Yum, yum, okay. You know those runs, those flurries? Mm-hmm. Hold the first note. I mean, after all, it's not a 16th note. You're almost playing straight 16ths, but it doesn't make any sense rhythmically because it's not a 16th note. You know? You sing it like, we talked about. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's not vocal enough. Not that I'm big on melodies because they're all derived from the harmonies. I mean, everything's derived from the chords, especially the bass line. I mean, it's first. But in your case, okay, your melodic play, you should start playing some Schubert, in my opinion. Play lots of Schubert, the greatest melodist that ever lived, for sure. I mean, take the second movement of the D major sonata, opus 53. I mean, it is just gorgeous. Just the tone, just the tune itself, forget about the harmonies. And that's rare in a composer, that you can just take that tune, the soprano, and say, that is absolutely gorgeous. That's a melodist. That's someone who can write a melody. Beethoven was not as good. Mozart, yeah, he was great with passing tones and counterpoint. But, I mean, of course he was a master. But Schubert, I mean, you take the opening of the B-flat sonata. Have you ever heard anything so gorgeous? Really? There's nothing more beautiful than the opening of the B, or the G major fantasy sonata. With that Mahler-esque last movement. Yada-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum, bum-be-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da. Yada-dum. See, you don't rush into that. Yada-dum. You wait for that moment. Another thing, Fleischer always said, never play a note till you have to. You're not doing that. You have so much facility that you can't wait to just get to the next hard part. Okay? So, bridle your passions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't get so excited about playing brilliantly. First of all, this concerto lies in the hand beautifully. I'm sure you know that. It's not like 21 or even 503. Those are really nasty concertos. This concerto lies in the hand so fantastically well. It's not hard in that way. Okay? I played it a long time ago. It's not the first big piece I played. I find 449 much harder, the E flat. And it's a much earlier work. Not much earlier, but very, quite a bit. Fairly earlier. This concerto does not need to be played brilliantly. It is brilliant. It's one of his greatest output. This and the A minor sonata, for me, are the most perfect pieces. I mean, the C minor sonata is good, but the A minor sonata, 310 and 466, it's ultimate Mozart. It's absolutely, I mean, you cannot deny the genius. It's beyond belief. And it comes out so pure and no erasure marks. You know how he wrote. It just flowed right out of his pen. And you need to play it that way. But and I hate to say it, one more thing I just thought of. You rush a lot. That is the cardinal sin. Don't rush. Move the line horizontally, coax it along, but don't rush. No. There's no crying in baseball, and there's no rushing in music. It's like the joke, you say, hey, you're rushing. And then the guy says, no, I'm not rushing. Then the guy says, well, then why are you rushing? You know that one, right?
Yeah.
That's funny, no? I'm going to say it again. It's very important. Why are you rushing? I'm not rushing. Then why are you rushing? You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do not rush. Cardinal sin. And if there is a contest somewhere, not like this one's a great one. But these goofballs that say, oh, she missed that note. Or they did this, excuse me, no, you can't do that in music. Yeah, that's one thing you cannot do. because it sounds out of control and it sounds like you have nothing to say except to get through the passage. So don't do it. You're too good for that, Hannah. Okay? Yeah. There's so many things I love about your playing. I'm sorry, I'm just hitting the high points of things you should work on. But like your trills are transcendent. They're absolutely tighter than a drum, and I love that. I can't stand slow trills. I can't stand slow trills. And you can do them with every finger combination. I can tell you have great independence. Just be careful not to show off. You don't need to. Just let it flow. You know, like you rush the opening before the orchestra's doing that syncopated yum bum 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 rum bum bum bum.
Yeah.
Then you set them up all wrong by rushing into that cadence, that cadential point. Don't do it.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. I can't say it emphatically enough. I'm not gifted at that. Okay? Yeah. One other tendency is to take this concerto. You know how people criticize Beethoven? They say, it's nothing but arpeggios and scales and blah, blah, blah. You know, he's nothing but arpeggio and scales. He's a lousy composer. Well, you could criticize Mozart that way if it's a performance that sounds like nothing but scales and arpeggios. But if it sounds like music, he's the most glorious composer of all. You know, if it says something, all of these, you know, these incredible rattly kind of things you do, they're so effective when they're subtle, and they're so obnoxious when you're just knocking them off. You know, don't knock them off.
Okay.
They're technical devices that are not to be taken that way. All it is, you know what it is? Do you know what all that stuff is? Can you tell me?
No.
All it is bridge material. That's all it is. That's just Mozart going from point A to point B, and then to C, and then to D. There's nothing to it, so don't dwell on it. What you want to dwell on, what's important. For example, in the opening, getting to the downbeat. But how do you get to the downbeat? That's the key. One guy said to me, it's not the notes that count, it's the space between the notes that count. And he's absolutely right. There's nothing to the notes. Any monkey can do that. You can train a monkey to do anything you just did technically. But what you did, you had some magical moments musically. No monkey can do that. Okay? You did some admirable things. I just can't, we don't have time to go into them all. So I want to hit the high points of what you should work on.
Okay.
Because you've got all the fingers in the world, and you can produce any gorgeous sound, I can tell. But you're settling for this kind of metallic, hard sound at times. Not all the time. You know, I mean, it's like really digitalis all the way sometimes. You know, it's admirable. It's admirable, but, you know.
Okay.
It's got to sound like Mozart. Okay, that's it. Enough is said.
Thank you, Richie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Giacomo, do you have anything to add after that?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's like a masterclass altogether.
First of all, I enjoyed your performance. It's coming. Usually we are judging a lot of pianists one after another. I start saying, I'm getting sick of this piano music already after 7 or 8 pianists. Now we are coming from singers or other repertoire. So your repertoire, your piano playing was very welcome to my ears. I was really enjoying it. I was actually upset that the accompanist was not playing all the orchestra part. I was inside the piece, say like, oh shit. suddenly starting the new part because we had to listen to your good piano playing, and that's a little bit the awkward part about judging. So we we had to judge how good as a pianist you are, and I would like to instead talk about music, and that's what Dickran was talking about. It's like it's this format of competition that I really dislike. I mean, we live in this world. The world has several rules, and we have to follow them, in order to do stuff. So, yeah, going to your playing. Okay, I find my comments will be less sophisticated than Dickran. I will go a little more simple with with my comments. I think that generally speaking, your Mozart lack of nuances, the nuances of dynamics, um, the more dynamic range you have in Mozart, and the more Mozart is there, the music. I find your dynamics kind of strong, forthcoming, which in some part are very welcome. Dun 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 pop 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 fiery. There is beautiful. But in other lighter part, I there was a lack of delicacy, and and that I really enjoyed your cadenza.
Thank you.
Your cadenza, even though you have done some mistakes there, I don't care. But there was a consequence of that. So, in the beginning, you have an high part that was strong, and then you manage to play lighter in the bass in the very beginning of the cadenza. I really like that. Do more of that.
Okay.
If you do more of that, you play Mozart. Mozart is there. Mozart is kind of jokey, in sense of when you think he's there, he disappears. You just go back to the mediocrity way of playing. He had to be there all the time. They are questioning him, questioning. The Mozart look like simple. It's very maybe the most difficult one. Uh, yeah, as you have this range of dynamic and phrasing, and like Dickran was saying before, he's very good with the analysis of how long one note, like pa, da, 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 da. So holding the right note, it's not it's simple, but it's also complex. So it's finding again the simplicity of Mozart, but with the different. There is another thing that I tell you. I discover in my piano playing. Very important is have you ever done any recordings yet?
Yeah.
Professional recording with record companies?
No.
Okay. So if you, when you will, I'm sure you will do professional recording. You will notice in the beginning when I was doing recordings, I say, okay, now I'm playing pianissimo. I go there, I listen to it. No, it's almost mezzo forte. Oh, so sometimes you have an idea you are doing at the piano, but then you go to listen and it's not there. Then you go back. Recording is a great school because you can listen to your playing, and so you can actually do what you are intended to do. So I really hope for you that you can do that and develop your dynamics, your dynamic range, and your phrasing. Okay.
Wonderful.
Bravissima, but I enjoyed it.
And I hope you enjoyed that. The reason, I think Richie wants to say one more thing. Yes, Richie.
I just want to say one more thing. He's absolutely right. It's complex. It's simple but complex. When I said to hold the eighth note longer and then go into the 16 note passage, that is not an easy thing. I didn't say it's easy, but you must do it. We have to do the hard things in life. Nothing in life is worth anything unless it's difficult. I mean, you don't easy things. I mean, it's like the difference between faith and knowledge. I know the sky's blue. What big deal? But if I believe the sky is blue, that's powerful. That means you don't know if it's blue, but you believe it with all your heart. So this is what's important is it's not easy to do these simple things. That's what Giacomo's talking about. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Thank you, Richie. Yep. That's great. Wow, Hannah. One of the reasons this is such a great competition is also because the judges get to talk to you. There's no time limit, and so I hope you really enjoyed that. I hope to hear you again sometime in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Hannah. That was a beautiful performance of the Mozart D minor concerto, the first movement, and I hope to hear all three movements sometime, and hopefully with the orchestra. As you know, we have different auditions for different events, and there's orchestras included in that. So thank you, judges. Thank you, Hannah. Before we move on to the next section, I want to talk a little bit about our season awards and what's happening this season. But first, there's a clip that I want to show you, which kind of highlights for everybody what's happening in this season. So I hope you enjoy. And not only do we have a lot of opportunities for performances, but there's also other different season awards, which are, I think, just as valuable, because this including different opportunities from iClassical Academy, as well as different opportunities from the Adler Oaks Library, invite musicians to actually participate in learning and furthering their education, as well as furthering their careers by playing different music by different composers, and also to pursue different avenues where this music career can lead them. And I think this is a really wonderful opportunity to access masterclasses, to access the Prize Award, for example, and to be involved in your career. I think a lot of musicians these days need to know different paths that they can take within a career that can not only bring them a lot of reward and a lot of fulfillment, but also chances to perform and to meet other musicians that are not just within their community or within their school, but all around the world. And so this is a wonderful opportunity, and I hope that those who are watching will check us out at our websites to find out more information, including virtualconcerthalls.com, soundespressivo.competition.com, progressivemusicians.com, and choreorchestra.com. And I want to make sure that everyone, check these out, because there's a lot that's happening, and not only for this season, but the season yet to come. Next up, we have a wonderful violinist by the name of Yenju Chen, who has submitted a recording of the violin partita number 2 in D minor, just the first movement, for the judges to enjoy and to give her comments. So please enjoy this by J.S. Bach, just the first movement of the violin partita number 2 in D minor. I guess we're in the theme of D minor here after the Mozart concerto. Let's have our judges give their feedback. Richie, you want to start us off?
Yeah. Well, this is a case of a little bit monotone, you know. The playing could be very colorful, could be, but it is not. So that's the first thing you got to do when you have a problem, is to identify it and admit it. Then you can proceed from there to correct it. Lots of phrases run together. Again, note values not preserved. See, like in the Emperor Concerto, you know, he writes, you know, Giacomo and Chris, he writes all these groups of 5, groups of 3, groups of 4, you know, and all this. It's got to be blended. You know, you can't just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, I mean, it has to be homogenized like milk, right? And here we have a very literal Bach chaconne. Well, it's not the chaconne, but it's from the suite, right? It's from the prelude or whatever. I believe it has to, well, first of all, it has to sing. It did not. It has to say something. It definitely did not. I'm sorry, I'm being brutal, but she could, or I'm sorry, he, I don't, well, I can't remember. Was it, yeah. What the person can play very musically and well, but it seems like it's like a chore or something. You know, like, oh, I don't really want to do this, you know. But it can be good. I don't know if this person likes music. That's my first impression. My first impression is, do they want to play? Or do they want to come to the dance? Or stay at home and eat popcorn and watch a movie? You know, I don't know. I just can't really tell. It's very difficult, but I don't believe in sugarcoating anything. So I would just have to say that this performance is non-competitive. Even though this isn't a competition, this is an audition. I think Anna would be very upset with us if we call it a competition. We must not call it a competition because it is not. But anyway, there are multiple winners. So the point is, this performance, I remember someone saying, this is not competitive. And I'm thinking, this was not in art. It was in some other field. And I was thinking, what does that mean? You know, like in The Sound of Music, the girl goes, but it doesn't mean anything. You know, when Maria is doing solfege, you know, do, re, mi, and you know, the little girl says it doesn't mean anything. Well, that's a matter of opinion. Everything has meaning, and this piece has great meaning. It's one of the great suites, you know. I mean, if you're going to talk about Bach, this is Bach at his most phenomenal in a way. Maybe not that particular movement, but, you know, it gets more phenomenal as it rolls around, rolls out like the E minor partita. What a masterpiece, right? You know, I mean, you know, who could think of something like that? Just Bach, the guy who tunes organs, right? Yeah. That's how he made his money. Yep. Sorry. There's no money in composition. Mozart's father said that. Okay, so space between the notes, same old problems. There is harmony in a solo violin piece. Sorry. So harmony dictates policy once again. I didn't get that. I mean, there's facility, there's that, but it needs to be pushed. This person needs to get inspired. And maybe this will inspire them. I don't know. Maybe sometimes severe criticism does strange things to people. You know, but I don't think it's severe. It's just observing. We're all friends here. You know, we want people to do well. You know, I don't want anybody to do badly, and it's not bad. It's just that if you're gonna look, we've got too much stuff going on in this business, you know. I mean, there are millions and millions of artists. If you're gonna do something, say something, for crying out loud, you know. Otherwise, don't do it. Just do something. Go into basket weaving, you know. That's it.
Thank you, Richie. Giacomo?
Can you remind me her name?
Yenjun Chen.
Yenjun. And she's from, you know, where is she? Where is she from?
I don't know. Sorry. Yeah.
I think that she has talent. I mean, she plays the violin. She can play the violin. So no,
Yeah.
That's really profound. I like that.
no, I mean,
Thank you, Giacomo.
no.
Yeah,
the thing-
thank you, Giacomo.
No, the thing that I just want to say that she doesn't have intonation problem. She can play the violin if she wants to. Actually, she plays the violin. But I think her performance was kind of lifeless. I rephrase what Dickran was saying a while ago.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's another way of
yeah,
saying it.
that's the question is simply I agree with him. Like, say, she might as well take a walk in the seaside or do something else. You know, she was not in it with her being, and she can play the violin when she decides to play music. You know,
Fair
she
enough.
can decide at any time, and then when she decides to play music, she can start. You can feel the difference immediately.
Fair
She
enough.
was kind of going through the motion, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Makes sense.
that, I mean, she can play very well.
Well, I mean, you don't know that, you know.
You know,
Well,
but-
the important thing is they're trying, they're putting the music out, and hopefully your comments will make an impact, and hopefully we'll see her back, and hopefully get to hear this again in a more full and I guess more mature and grown stage in her musical development.
the first step is to decide to make music.
Right.
Well, yeah,
yes.
that's the very first step.
Right.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can, I mean, it's not easy from going through the motion to all of a sudden you play great music.
Of course.
But at least you decide to make music,
Yeah.
and then you can open that possibility.
There's a
That's all.
desire to want to play music, but then there's also sometimes people are consumed so much by the technicality of it that they forget that aspect. And I think as a listener, as an audience member, as a musician, that's what you want to hear. As a music lover, you want to hear music first and foremost, and hopefully everything else also, as Richie says, falls into place once you really imagine what the music you want to say is.
Yeah, there's another thing, though, if you don't mind me butting in.
Not at all. Go ahead.
It's our job here to be protectors of standards. And I don't mean this person's bad and this person's good. What I mean is these competitions, and I don't care who's listening, they're not constructive necessarily. This one is, okay? And it's obvious why. And I think we have to be true to ourselves and question the very existence of anything like this. Should this exist? Should this not exist? Yeah, it's going great, but that's not a reason for it to exist. Yeah, it's going great. I'm having a ball. But I mean, what are we talking about? For me, it's always been the minute you drop that needle, it's the music. I mean, I'm sure it's with all of you. It just grabs you. So it's the music. It's not the composer. It's not Beethoven and how many times he blew his nose in his life. It's, these details about these composers. Oh, did you know that, Beethoven was a Mormon, or something like that. I'm just making this stuff up. The point is It's the music. This is a talent on loan, okay? This is not Beethoven's talent, okay? It's not his. Sorry. You can believe what you want to believe, but it came from somewhere, and whoever gave it to him, it's theirs. Okay? And Beethoven was alive 57 years or something like that. So he was the conduit. He was the vessel. And you can't worship the person. You have to worship, if you're going to worship something, you're going to worship the music, the product. Yeah. And the product is so important. Mm-hmm. So we can't just make it sound like, oh yeah, it's okay. You got to make a statement. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
and there are those
that's why you're here. To reinforce that standard and what to improve, and use your ears and your experience to show younger musicians what it is like to continue aim forward and striving for better and better.
Yeah, but even more important, it's not what I say or Giacomo or you. We may not be right. I mean, Beethoven could come down from wherever he is in heaven or something and say, "You guys are all full of it." I'm willing to say I'm full of it. No problem. Yeah. You have to be humble enough to admit that you're wrong, but at least question it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't offer answers that are going to solve everyone's problems. Like they come to management and say, Jack's going to solve all your problems, or, some nonsense like that. Your whole career is going to be just fine. I mean, nobody is the answer to anybody's prayers, and nothing is the answer to anything. You just keep trying by process of elimination and experimentation and hypothesis, whatever you want to call it. And we're all fumbling around in the same world. But we have to protect the honesty. And the honesty is, should you do this?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been really a good session, I think, with some really good playing here and there. And thank you, judges, for providing your feedback and your comments. I think this is very important for musicians to hear different feedback from musicians from different places, different backgrounds, so that they can hear what it's like to get criticism. Yeah,
I want to add something. I think that it's good, like this format is to encourage and foster, encourage careers and creating careers. And I'm all for it. I spend my life encouraging people, even if when I audition a violist for my orchestra, there is some shortcoming, I say, hey, you can get here, and I've been always doing that. But I think Dickran is right in sense of if you don't assert where you think is the problem, then you cannot find a possible solution.
Right, of course.
So the first step is to, someone plays piano for me and they say, oh, I'm dreaming. You missed all these notes here. And, I don't care much about notes, but when it's, like a good number of them,
fair
say,
enough.
Look, there is a problem here. So, I mean, we are speaking the same language here. Okay.
I understand. Yeah, well, of course.
One other thing, this wraps it up. Lincoln said something important. He said, he has the right to criticize who has the heart to help. You have a right to criticize if you're willing to help the person. If you're going to just criticize for criticizing's sake or critical, like critics maybe, oh yeah, this was not Beethoven or something like that. No, you got to be constructive. And so Lincoln's right. He who has the heart to help has the right to criticize.
I love that. I think that's really important.
That's what Lincoln said. He said some great things.
That's what you two are doing, I think. It's not just the criticism, it's also how to continue moving forward and to improve.
Yeah, I mean, I need this like I need a hole in my head. I'm trying to help people.
Yeah,
I mean, and I've never taught at Michigan or anywhere where I wasn't trying to, I don't even want to give my information out. To be honest, I'm not interested in, oh yeah, you got to hold the wrist this way and play Ondine like this. I'm not that interested in that. But if it helps somebody, then I'm interested.
Amazing.
And if the person is willing to do the work and put in the time and, not this lackadaisical thing, but, someone who's really committed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, judges, thank you so much for your discussion. I think I was going to ask a few questions, but I think this is more than enough of a discussion about music and musicality and improving. So with that, we're going to end the show because we have another one coming up at 8 p.m. and we will probably have the two of you back and for more discussions and for judging. Thank you once again.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. The season we have now is very exciting, as you all know, and I've talked about it before. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure we talk about the performance packages, what you get as a winner, as someone who is going to play in Carnegie Hall. And a lot of these auditions include different performance packages. You're going to be treated like a celebrity. Our team is going to welcome you in New York with just a big hug, and you're going to have amazing practice facilities as well as opportunity to rehearse with either your pianist or in the hall itself before you go on. And as someone who recently played there, I can attest to the fact that it's really, really well organized. So for those who are considering joining, there are more different deadlines coming up for Carnegie Hall auditions. This isn't just the only one we have. We have much more coming forward. You also get an opportunity to be interviewed by the legendary radio broadcaster from Chicago, Steve Robinson. And you're going to get to have access to not only certificates and this package that we have prepared for you, but you also get a copy of your recording, which I think arguably is one of the most important parts of this whole process. The fact that there is an access to your own recording and to get photos and other, like a medal here, as you can see, this is part of what we have to offer our winners. And so if you know someone who would be interested in joining us, please make sure you check us out. We have websites available, which you will see down below. There's different things that we can offer, and please consider telling people about it. And if you're watching from YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching, make sure you give us a like and make sure you give us a follow. Virtual concert halls, we have sound@espressivocompetition.com, progressive musicians, and Call Orchestra, which are chock full of so many different opportunities for everybody. I want to make sure we promote one thing which I and Dr. Anna Spensai do passionately, which is the Beethoven Show. We have this amazing Magnificent Nine documentary which we're dissecting episode by episode, and it comes out every Thursday and Sunday. So check those shows out because they are so full of wisdom by Larry Rapchak, and they are produced by architects of music, new media production worldwide, as well as virtual concert halls. So you can guarantee that the quality is excellent, but the narration is what is really driving this. I want to make sure we thank our collaborators as well, these partners who have supported us from the beginning. There's a lot of these names out there which you'll see. These partners have been there from the beginning, supporting us and giving opportunities not only for us but to give you musicians. It's all about you. It's all about giving you an opportunity to play more, to feel more comfortable on stage, as well as to share your music and share what you have to say to a bigger audience. And last but not least, thank you to our team. Our team is constructed of mostly amazing musicians who are not only passionate about the arts, but also people who do a lot of the work you see behind the scenes, from the social media posts to all the transitions to making sure everybody sounds amazing. I want to give a hand to James Welch for making sure everyone who comes on sounds great, and to provide all these different details one by one to all our contestants, and making sure all the back end and the front end works so smoothly. So thank you to our team. We stream on many different avenues everywhere, from YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X, and much more. And we're also on Vimeo, so check us out. We have so many things available. We're also on Alignable as well, if you're into that and in small business area. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, our judges, and we'll see you next time. We have a show starting in less than an hour and a half. So I'll see you there, and until then, take care. Bye for now.